Hey everyone, this is Lex down here at Clawson Motorsports. Just want to spend some time with you today talking about our friend here, the Honda Talon. Honda is a little bit new in the playing game with the performance side. Everyone knows Honda for their quality and durability. We've been using them on the farms and ranches forever, and we know how dependable they are. So it's nice to see Honda getting back into the performance side. You'll get that Honda dependability and quality, but also have a little fun with it at the same time. This one today, we're going to be talking about the Honda Talon 1000. This is their X model. They've made both an X and an R, and the difference is in the track width and size, just if you're more of a trail-oriented person or more of an open playground type person for desert dunes, things like that with higher speeds. One of the biggest features on the Honda is the fact that Honda is one of our only manufacturers that runs a gear-driven transmission for their car. Most of the manufacturers, use the CVT belt drive, which works well, but it's really nice to have a gear-driven transmission like this. This takes that power from that 1000cc engine and it gives you all that power put to the ground. Instead of losing some percentages as you do with a belt drive, this gives you that direct drive. There's 6 gears on this, and there's also both a high range and a low range. So that gives you a result of actually 12 forward gears on this. So if you can't find the right gear that you're looking for, you need to look a little harder because there's 12 choices. This also runs on this feature is the live valve suspension on this particular model. When we talk about live valve, that's the Fox system. Fox makes the suspension system for all the manufacturers. You'll hear it called Dynamics from Polaris. You'll hear it called Smart Shock from Can-Am. For Honda, they call it live valve. It's all the same suspension, just different names for different manufacturers. That being the case, that means that these Fox shocks on here are controlled electronically. They monitor themselves 200 times a second to take into consideration your speed, your access ratio as far as if you're going on a turn, if you're braking, if you're accelerating. All these things come into play. And I get the comments from people a lot of times, oh, well, I don't do a lot of jumping or things like that. And that does come into play with this. It helps with that. But what really shows off with this is just the way the car handles. When you're coming into a turn and that suspension is live and you make a quick turn to the left, it'll stiffen the shocks on the right side of the car and soften the shocks on the left side of the car. It really takes that body roll out of it. So that way the car turns nice and flat through the curves. Also, when you're coming to a braking point, if you've ridden in one of these side-by-sides before, they tend to be kind of nose heavy when they brake. They dive down into a braking turn. On this, it's going to do what I call a horse stop, which is stiffen up the front legs and soften the tail. And so it brakes nice and flat and even. It gives you more of a control feel of the unit the whole time. The fun part is on the acceleration. When you smash that throttle, it's going to stiffen the rear shock so it doesn't squat so much and just transfer all that power right to the wheels and get just a quick forward motion on it. This even has, with that 6-speed transmission, another fun feature for acceleration is the launch mode on this. You can set the launch mode on this, bring the RPMs up on the engine and let go of the handles and have an extreme takeoff. That combined with this suspension will give you some pretty impressive launches, because you hear people talk about the fact that this Honda doesn't have a turbo and everything else, but the power that it does has, it uses it wisely. It puts it to the ground and that gives you just the same effect as all the cars with a high horsepower that can't put that power to the ground. You also have intelligent 4-wheel drive system on this. I have seen these cars set up on displays where they have 3 of the wheels on rollers that will get no traction and start spinning, and the car will figure out which of the 4 wheels is going to get traction, put the power to that wheel, and climb most anything you're going to point it at. So it's a great feature to have. On the transmission, you have 2 choices. You can either do what I call play mode, which is manual, and you get to shift the gears yourself, or automatic mode, which my better half, she loves that, because she puts it in automatic and just lets it drive itself. The fun part is when you do that in automatic mode, the paddles on the wheels still override it. So if you're driving along in automatic and you're coming into a turn and you're like, oh, I'm a little fast for this, you can reach over and grab that paddle and downshift a gear or 2. And then as soon as you get back in the throttle with the automatic, it'll go right back up to full speed. You also have hill assist on this vehicle. A lot of us know we've done that before when we're in the mountains and the hills and we go to put our vehicle at a stopping point on a hill. If you put it in a park, it's so hard to get it moving again out of that gear. By selecting hill assist on this, it'll hold the car on that hill until you hit the throttle again, and then it'll release it and you can climb right up that hill. Between the strong suspension, the Honda quality, the opportunities of the transmission that offer you like that, these cars are a blast. They're also very reasonable and affordable as far as pricing. They have extremely comfortable seat on the ergonomics on the inside, the way the car fits and feels. It's like a typical Honda. It does exactly what you expect it to do. Everything is within reach. Everything makes sense when you look at it. It's just laid out the way you want it. This car will make you comfortable in anything that you want to do and put a big smile on your face while you're doing it. Thanks again for spending your time with us and checking out the Honda Talon with me. If you have any questions about this vehicle or any other, feel free to call us here at the store. You can always reach me. Everybody knows it's Off-Road Lex, and so if it's playing in the dirt, I'll try to answer your questions the best I can.